Hi, this is Awesome with the NQ No Quitter Game of the Week. Here I start on the river. I move to the gold resource. I move away from the river because even though it does provide me with gold, it doesn't really give me the ability to get to the cow or the 2 silver as fast as I want. The masonry or the stone resource will be easily taken with my culture borders after probably about 20-30 turns, hopefully. Here is the start I have. I buy a city-state. I believe it turns out to be Almaty, which is a military city-state. We play on Emperor level in No Quitters free-for-alls, and that makes the city-states more powerful. How much more powerful, I don't know. I need to figure out exactly the mechanics of that. I'm scouting around south of my capital. I find a nice hill for production. I want to figure out where I am exactly on the map because this is a Pangea map. I figure I'm in the northeast corner because if you notice, you see the coast to the right there. You see the coast to the top left, so you factor in that you might be in the top right corner of the Pangea map, so you have some way of knowing where you want to attack or where you want to expand to. So right now I'm thinking to expand to my bottom left, or expand next to that sugar that I just popped up, or one of those sugars, and have Almaty become a puppet and just build a road between them. Here I am building a monument to try and increase my borders quickly. If there is runes on, which they sometimes play with runes, I might have opened with 1 or 2 scouts to try and get the ancient runes before anybody else could get them. Here I'm just still exploring with my warrior, building that monument, taking a look at my resources I have around my capital, and they look pretty nice right now. There you go. There's a nice picture of that. Alright, well here I'm playing China. China is one of the most powerful civs in the game in my opinion, with his Chocanu, which has 11 range strength, which shoots twice, 10 combat strength, so it can stand up usually to knights that aren't upgraded in force. And also it has a paper maker, which is the library replacement, which gives +2 gold, no maintenance costs, and 1 beaker for every 2 citizens. And I believe it rounds up. So the more cities you have with the libraries that have an odd number, you have that 1 extra half beaker given to you. They also have the Great General. You can't forget about the Great General. They have the +35% bonus in land, bonus in combat. The Great General for China gives an extra 50% bonus. I go Liberty because I want to expand quickly, and hopefully I just find that the Liberty tree is the most powerful tree of the social policy so far. Maybe some tweaks as discussed on awesomeciv.com to the honor tree, and also with great input from NQ Sultan and NQ Don. So hopefully they make some changes with that in Civilization, and Sid Meier's or Firaxis makes changes with the tweaks a little bit of the honor and tradition tree to make it more powerful. But as you can see, I'm still expanding. Or still scouting my area. As you notice, I'm in lead in points, but that can be quickly changed early going. Here I meet Brussels, who has another copy of the Silk Luxury, and so I need to consider which one I want to take over, if any, of those 2 city-states. I see Almaty, and I see it can easily connect up to a sugar city. If I connect that up, if I take it over, and here's some marble too, so I have really an excellent starting spot with dyes to my bottom left, sugar to my south, marble to my east, and I believe I'll find some whales surprisingly to the northwest after some exploration. there's barbarian camps in the free-for-alls with no quitters. So basically you have to protect your settlers and workers. That's rule 101, as I say. The first 100 rules are basically just to win. That's a little joke. Anyway, I'm teching ironworking right now because I want to be able to find out where my iron is, because no quitters always doesn't play strategic resources. They play standard most of the time, and so basically you have to hunt for your iron, just like it would be in real life. I mean, no quitters I found to be excellent community people who play realistic free-for-all options with full diplomacy. And you'll see how diplomacy factors in a little bit. So here you see how I got the animal husbandry and the 2 horses in my capital. So I really have a very powerful capital with 2 horses, a cow, 2 silver, stone, and I'm planted on gold. So I plan on planting this city. I was going to plant it by the dyes, but I realized I wouldn't get the growth I wanted. I might have gotten the bananas, but after that maybe the horses. So it would have been a strong city, but I factored in the fact that I don't think anybody's going to plant there soon either. What I did factor in is that I was in the northeast corner. I wanted to be able to make a kind of like the point to my spear where I attack. And this is where I would be attacking, the direction I'll be attacking in, the direction all my troops will be funneled to make me control the most center point of the map. So basically I have a city to be able to supply my troops, heal them, a base of operations, if you will. And so I plant, I believe, on that hill right there. Here's some barbarians attacking me. I believe I plant right on that hill. It's perfect. I slowly take out that barbarian camp, and I have that sugar to work. I have 2 sugars to work on that, so I'm lucky to have that city right there. As you can see, I'm first in most categories, so I'm doing well. GMP I could be doing a little bit better in one percentage point or 1 point more. So excellent start. From here, I'm basically taking over some barbarians. Barbarians are causing me some trouble. Notice I have warriors, so I'm not attacking there because I don't want to lose a warrior to a barbarian. It would be crucial to my, it's crucial to your success, I think, not to lose any extra units as much as possible. Just to be able to be greedy, maybe get that 16 gold from the barbarian camp or so. It's just not worth it. Here we picked all random. There you see I took the barbarian camp. I pivoted around that one that was fortified, the unit, and then I'll probably slowly take out the other unit. We did random civilizations to choose, so I really did luck out with China. We also have, I believe, the Iroquois, Russia, France, Arabia, and Aztecs. So very powerful civilizations to be picked. No real terrible civilizations where you can't have form a strategy around them. As you know, Russia, you really are a production powerhouse. Iroquois, you might consider Mohawk rushing. France, you expand. Generally, Arabia, you trade and get those extra resources as fast as possible. And Aztecs, you're just a war machine with those Jag legions, or Jag swords and long swords. I say Jag legions because I just finished a game a week or 2 ago that I recorded. It reminded me of that game. Was an excellent game with Builder for the win, actually, who taught me how to use Taxi, and I want to thank him again for teaching me how to use it. And I'm using some different editing software, so I'm going to try some different stuff out as time goes on. Here my warriors just trying to take out the rest of the barbarian troops that are around, and I am slowly building up my empire, building a monument to increase my cultural borders, and boom, I find France. Had I had a scout, maybe I would have been a little bit more noticed that France was right next to me. Excuse me. So I started working on the horses first because I went to production. I could work the silver first, but I'm probably not working that tile. And I'm still happy by 1. So I should be at least one. So I should be okay with that. I probably switch over sometime soon. There's another worker there, it looks like, working the silver, and that's why I'm okay with it there. I believe since I see France right there, I believe I plant this second city. I decide. I'm not sure if I made a move backwards and move back toward the dies, or if I decide to plant by the marble with my second city, or my third city, excuse me. But we'll see in a second. Right here you see France. My first thoughts of France is that border is extremely close. I think to myself, would you want to attack France instead of Almaty? Do you want the city-state? Do you want to try and make peace with them and maybe attack other civilizations? Because I found over the course of a few free-for-alls that it's not always the most warmongering person who wins the game. Sometimes it's the person who texts, waits for the warmongers to come around, and then when the warmongers are at their weakest or at their most extended point, they attack back and they take you over. So it's not always a good option just to go start warring with people. So I think here, yep, I plant over by the marble. And I think I get a fourth city down by the die sometime. So I'm still worried about the French a little bit. I probably check the demographics to see the troop size to make sure they're not going to be able to rush me, because France is extremely strong at rushing. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, because the settler comes out so fast through its culture policies, its cultural bonus, and its social policies. So you get extra gold faster as long as the city is being produced or being founded, and you get the ability to produce maybe an extra one or two warriors, maybe one warrior than you could with a regular city. And there I buy my iron, I believe, just to make sure that I get it. And then here I work my second silver and move the other worker, to get that iron. Notice I'm always protecting my workers because this is a barbarians map. You never know where they come from and take your warriors. And here I decide to put some pressure on France, I believe. Here I mine my iron, mine my silver. Great library's been built and far away, but I still have the points lead, so I'm happy about that. I believe I'm taking the wheel because I think about going for mathematics, which gives me the Hanging Gardens. I think I have a really powerful start with my capital, so Hanging Gardens would be very nice there. But I think I decide, well, in the scheme of things, it was better just to grow, and I think for now I pick calendar to be able to farm those sugars. Even though some first most categories, everything from population to soldiers, approval is not as happy as I want it to be, and neither is literacy. But approval and literacy, if barring all else is equal. If you notice, I was actually starving there. I produced a settler. I don't know how to calculate the right tiles to make it not starve, which is also discussed in my game suggestions at awesomeciv.com, where you should have a never starve button. So the city just doesn't starve automatically. It also starves again, I think, after my settler is produced, and then I turn to default focus afterwards. Here I'm upgrading my warriors to my warriors to swordmen, and figuring out where I want to push. Because I feel like you always need to apply pressure in games. If you're not applying pressure, if you're not the one doing the applying of the pressure, then you're the one getting applied pressure on, and you always want to have the strategic advantage of applying pressure, I believe. Not a lot. You don't always have to bring a lot. Maybe it's just 3 or 4 swordsmen and hold the front closer to their border than yours. If you notice the scouts just kind of walking around, I don't like that, because you can steal a worker or pillage my improvements or things like that. If you notice, I'll keep that warrior on that iron for a long time because people love to pillage your iron when you're attacking them with scouts. Here I'm fighting some barbarians, saying, "Get away from my borders." And here is a worker finally getting down to my second city to be able to work some tiles. So the horses once again are being worked first for production. I should be working that calendar resource if I have calendar. I don't know why I did not if I didn't. We'll see in the next see, I haven't discovered calendar yet. I was discovering masonry. And here is my fourth settler, or my third settler, but fourth city. And I really want to move over by those dyes. That's my game plan. So what I do is I see what Russia is about, see if I can trade with anything with them to try and get them to not attack my settler, but they move away luckily. If you notice, I took the Republic and Liberty for those extra hammer and 5% building production bonus. Liberty really is an excellent social track for someone who's trying to expand with the settler and worker production bonus. Here you notice I'm building a swordman because I don't believe I have that much gold that I want to waste on upgrades anymore. I want to have an early little push, so I'm building swordmen in my capital. And I'm waiting to move that settler out because Rule 101, what do? Protect those settlers and workers. You notice that people are catching up in some categories, but I hold the population and manufacturing lead still, which is I'm really think is key to winning the game, especially the production. Or the amount of hammers that you produce, because the amount of hammers you produce shows the amount of strength, the kind of versatility I believe in your economy, whether or not you can produce, you know, commerce buildings or war buildings like barracks or happy buildings like coliseums. And there we go. There goes off my third settler to build my fourth city. I finally choose mathematics. I'm thinking maybe I could sneak in the hanging gardens because it would be really powerful. So, excuse me, I build another settler for, I believe, the whales. I think that's an excellent thing. There, the warrior gets pretty lucky and sometimes against me, as it usually does, takes a lot of health away, so I worry about losing that swordman. Here I'm just checking my troops. I have barbarians all around me. Luckily he didn't declare war right there, because you could declare war and steal my worker, or settler. Here I have a few swords ready to go upgraded, and I need to factor in what do I want to do there. Because I still have I have an open extended front to my top right, which would be hard for him to get to pivot around, to get through all those mountains in the city-state just to attack me. So basically my only real concern is Shanghai, and I have 3 swords there already, plus a 4th sword coming. I build my 4th city right next to those dyes, next to those horses. Excellent city spot. So really I've been very lucky with my city spots, getting iron, a lot of iron, 8 iron I believe total. Manufacturing goods is still high. You can notice on that screenshot of the demographics. And here I am just expanding as usual. Producing a sword in my 3rd city right there. Because I want to push somewhere. I haven't decided where yet. Here I'm working a calendar resource and moving up to the dyes. Trying to make sure I take that spot. Always trying to hold the defensive spot when I can with swords and other units. Still have that warrior on my iron to be able to protect my strategic resources. I believe I finally built a scout here just to be able to scout around the area. I think I know generally where I am. I always find that scouting is not as big of a deal as you would think, as long as you really get a feel for your area, where you are on the map, and there are no ancient ruins. Here I find Russia along a little bit of a path there, so very tough to take right there. If I was to attack Russia, I would say that it would cost me maybe 2 to 1 units to try and get through that mountain pass right there, just like the Spartans or whoever the 300 are. I have to look that up one day. That died defending the mountain pass. So basically, it's just like that. So they throw a nice troop out there, like a swordman, and it'll be tough to take with a swordman. And here we go, moving the force settler to my 5th city spot, right by the whales, the atoll, cow, horses. Here I build my scout out, and here I bring my swords down. I discovered mathematics. I'm building a barracks in Beijing. I consider going, I think, Great Wall here, but factoring in my civilization location, I think that I can defend based upon my location on the peninsula in the northeast corner of the map. There, I think I'm debating whether or not to build on the barb camp or to the top left. I think I decided to build right where I am. I have whales as quickly as possible. I have, which I really don't hook up fast enough, I found, but I do have whales there. And here is France, with that cool crop circle in the bottom. Here I'm still producing the barracks in the capital with some monuments in the new cities. Usually in my new city builds, I start with monuments so you can offset the cost of increase in policies for your new cities, the cultural costs. There I'm trying to, well, I'm friends with Brussels because they killed that barbarian camp, so I get extra resources or culture from them. I'm not sure what type of camp they are, or city-state they are, excuse me. I usually don't play with city-states that often, so I'm not really used to the factors of which city-states are more powerful. But you know, some grant food, some grant culture, some grant units. So I think more personally the most powerful is probably the food, so because you can grow and you can get production out of it. And I believe those are maritime. So I'm trying to find a way to get around France, see if I can attack them from a different angle to surprise them. Always looking for the right angle to attack your opponents or defend with your opponents, either one. But the more information you have at hand makes it easier for you to make a decision. So I decided to go for the Hanging Gardens. It's 10 turns, a turn. I believe it's about 48. I figure, you know, if someone hasn't built it yet, maybe I can steal it. And that's such a powerful capital, I can build it in 10 turns. So I go for it. Here I'm looking at diplomacy overview. Manufactured goods. I have almost double. I've tripled the manufactured goods of the worst producing civilization. Pretty much 50% more than over 50% more of the average. So I'm doing pretty well, I think. Definitely improving the resources around my capital. Those luxuries are looking nice. Hooking up those horses after those dies. Trying to make myself happy. And trying to get the production. And here I start producing paper makers because I think that's one of the most efficient buildings in the game. Gives you that extra gold so I can build a big army. Because you notice my gold is pretty low right now, so the paper makers is an excellent option to increase your gold. I'm also building the Colossus, I've decided, because I have one fish resource there, but basically, if I can sneak a Colossus in one of my third or fourth cities at 15 turns and get +5 gold, to me it's worth more than 2 markets at this stage, so I really go for it. And here I move the sword down and leave 1 sword to defend. I'm really trying to figure out where the attack France would be the best option. As you see, Russia is now upgrading their troops to swordmen. Knowing Enki Sultan, he's no noob. He will definitely make it hard for me to expand my civilization without taking some sort of whaling for it. So notice I still have my warrior on the iron, move my swordmen down, move my workers to the locations where they can be the most efficient use of their time to work their land. Or try to, at least. Swordman's coming down. And once again, I build a paper maker in my city because I feel it's really an overpowered building, and an early market for the gold is pretty amazing. You can build a bigger army than the average person. Here I think we'll wait 1 more turn and then take over Paris. I'm not sure what I do here if I do take over Paris. I'm pretty sure I do. I declare war on the next turn. He noticed he had a great general that popped. Maybe building a citadel there, throwing that archer in there while he's still upgrading troops would have been a good idea, but I don't know if he has iron either. It's tough to be on this map without iron, because if you don't have iron, you're really relying on pikemen and horsemen for your first, I don't know, 80 turns, and on quick speed, and you really have a disadvantage. So basically, I'm looking at the troops, I'm looking at the my options, I'm moving down. Now, see, by Nanjing, I move that sword down, because I factor in, okay, well, I may attack, I may get he may have more troops than I know. He could easily push me back. See, he has a war chariot there, and I have a few swords. So basically, I'm just factoring, okay, fine, I'm just going to attack all at once, fortify all my troops, wait for him to bombard me, attack again, fortify all my troops, bombard, attack again. Notice he takes less damage if he fortified. He waits till the end. He doesn't wait till the end of the turn, so I don't. And still growing my civilization. Now here's the 2 things that you have to really factor in when you choosing whether or not to be imperialistic or attacking or growth civilization. I think that there could be some, mixture of both that works the best, but I figure either going imperialistic, the problem is that by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th person that you take over, which you'll see this game, you get to be at a tech disadvantage by about 10%. I found that if you take over maybe 1 or 2 cities, build your education, you can catch up to their tech and still have more powerful army and things like that. See, I take a worker there. He takes a sword. I believe takes one of my swords. I'm moving down with my other sword. I figure, okay, well, you know what? This is getting heated battle. Swords are in the red. They're coming at me. I think I get a heal off in time for the one in Paris, northwest of Paris, but we'll see what happens there. Still leading manufactured goods. So I'm waiting till the last second. I push OK. I get that heal off. Boom. He attacks me. He kills me. I don't know if I did heal off in time. I move in. I lost maybe 1 or 2 swords. 1 or 2 swords are in the red. And as you notice, there is Enki Sultan coming from the north. definitely seeing that Nanjing is unprotected, noticing that I'm overextended by my forces. I do this sometimes, and it kind of sometimes bites me. But most of the time, a player isn't as skilled as NQ Sultan wouldn't be scouting my territory while I'm attacking another. Luckily, this is turn 57. I take over Paris. I conquer Paris. I get Stonehenge, which is really nice. I get another gold resource. I think I get the same resources again, though, so that's the problem. I get a gold resource, and I don't know if I get any other resources. And I already have a gold resource, but it's a powerful city, so I keep it. He starts attacking me at Nanjing, or Nanjing. He has 2 swords there. He's coming at me. Luckily, I have Chokanu soon, discovering engineering. I have a great general coming on the way for the plus 35% bonus. Perfect time for me to get attacked if I can just push him back a little bit and just continue on with my imperialistic ways. Here he is, just attacking Nanjing and me defending Paris. More worried obviously about Nanjing right now than Paris. If I lose Paris back, it's not the biggest loss, but if I lose my expansion city in my corner, which is one of my basically bookend cities to defend myself, I might have a problem. Notice I don't extend myself any further than this, especially since I'm getting attacked. I try and hold off what I can at Paris, and I do a pretty good job with 2 swordmen, holding off a few swordmen, chariot archers, scouts, and other things. So here I am building warriors, upgrading them to swordmen, and bringing them along as fast as possible. I try and move my general out of harm's way. I don't want it to lose it. But he's definitely taking the Nanjing this turn. Probably. Here I debate whether or not to attack the swordmen in the forest. I'm not sure if I do or not in the end. But we'll see. Here, a small little civilization but growing. I lead in points right now by a good margin. But people are starting to get angry that I took over France's capital. So he gets a little fast move off on me. For some reason, it doesn't attack the guy at Nanjing before he attacks the city. So, you know, c'est la vie, such is life. I get a heal there, attack there, and kill his sword. A little double attack sword there, that was nice. And I gotta start pushing back. I gotta start telling these people, you know, what are you doing in my neighborhood? You gotta get out of here. And Nanjing gets puppeted, and I try and take it back. I have 3 swords on the way. I have machinery in 15 turns. But I do have a problem with NQ Sultan right here, and it is a real one. Does he have more troops than he has right there? Is it just 2 swords and 2 archers? Is he being pressured from another front? Did he make a alliance? There I got real lucky with a sword. Took out his horseman and moved back into the city with the other sword to be able to get healed. Move in my general finally, and start building workers to improve my economy. He starts raising the city, which is a good move because I'll probably take it back to the city next turn. Here I try and get France to settle me a deal for peace, but I want to take his iron so he doesn't build up a big army. So if he's happily be able to live in peace and sit tight for a little while other wars might happen, then we go peacefully. Otherwise, we have a problem. Here I build the stoneworks for my capital, which is very powerful. Still building swordmen, but I run out of iron. And once again, the really powerful paper maker. I've done some building a catapult also to be able to take over cities. Colosseums for happiness. My happiness hasn't been that good lately, but I did Puppet Paris, and that's going to cost me a little bit of happiness, especially since I already have gold. But to have Paris at your southern flank like that, and you leave it open, would just leave you open to invasion after invasion after invasion, especially during their musketeer times. So there is a picture of my statistics, real nice, first place in most categories. Here I think I'd take a sword and move in for a flanking bonus. He comes in. I take my great scientist, I believe. And just because you're done with machinery does not mean that you have to wait. Or just because you partially tech machinery does not mean you have to wait. Boom. I have choke news by turn 63. Here I take 2 swords for 1, which is a good trade. And I'm still getting attacked by France. He's making it hard for me to be able to control my territory. And here he has two archers and a sword with a scout, so a very powerful defensive position. But he no longer has a city spot, so that's excellent for me. I got to push back. I believe I build Chocanu, or I start building Chocanus. Most powerful, or one of the most powerful units in the game, in my opinion, if not the most powerful unit in the game. Work is building roads, connecting my network of roads and my network of cities. Swordman's getting damaged. I bring him back, I believe, because that's in the red zone or the yellow zone. And he'd probably be attacked by one of the swords and one of the scouts and be killed. And so I bring my everything back a little bit so he can't attack. Here I still have swordman coming. And since I lost a swordman, I can upgrade that one warrior to a swordman also. So far I have no plans on attacking Lyons or the other city, French city. They have sugar. I have sugar already. I have no need for it. The only reason to take it over would be to stop getting pestered by them. And before I could accept that deal, I believe that he rejected it or changed his mind. Here I have aspirations to go after Russia. I figure maybe I could do it. But the point is, I still see that mountain pass, and I say to myself, man, that's going to be one tough mountain pass to get through. They try, oh yeah, he keeps trying to sneak in Paris, and the deals that he makes trades with me. He says, oh, peace from Paris. And he thinks that I'm going to give up Paris, given my position of getting choke news every 3 turns in my capital, which I plan on. I usually try and plan on my unique unit being built in my capital between 3 to 6 turns. So when my unique unit comes around, I can produce it pretty quickly and pretty rapidly and get them on the front lines. Here we have some Chokanus being brought out finally to the front, which is real nice to see those Chokanu symbols come in and take out some Russian infidels, if you will, or whatever you call them. Whoever's taking over my land. Even though I did take over Paris, but, you know, life's not fair, so... So here Chokanus are finally coming up. I move my catapult up to try and attack that archer. Still connecting the road systems to my cities. Still have not gotten that whale resource. I wish I got that whale resource faster, but it's not like it would have made a big difference, considering the fact how unhappy I was. Grabbing a drink real quick, since it's such a long game. And there you go. There you have it. My manufactured goods, GMP, all those goodies are first in standings. And once again, we go to the Chinese loading screen. If you notice the top left-hand corner, that's the Tasky recording software that I use, showing me that it's being recorded right now. The red button means that it's starting or it's being recorded. Green means it's not recording, but it's ready. If you don't see this box in the top left-hand corner, then you know it's nothing's going on. Once again, back in the game. And here I start bombarding stuff, and he realizes he has to back up because I have Chokanus turn 68, I believe it is, so an excellent time to get Chokanus. There I did build the Hanging Gardens, nice little Hanging Gardens next to my capital, very powerful capital. I wish I had more happiness. Excuse me. Here I try and say attack Sultan, receive 100 gold, and try and see how diplomacy works in NQ. And I try and get him to be attacked because I know Sultan is a good player and one of the heads of NQ. And so I figure, why not get more help? And if I have 100 gold from taking over a city, why not parcel it out? I wish I could have a situation, a democracy or diplomacy, where I could offer a bounty, meaning like if you declare war on the civilization, you get 100 gold automatically and get it guaranteed. I think that'd be pretty cool. Also, some of the suggestions at awesomeciv.com. Here is the swordman. I think I try and take him over. Take that red swordman. I'm not sure if I do. Now I'm really intent because I forget. Do I get him? Yes, I get him. Alright. So he has to back off there because he loses his swordman. And I have Chokanus now defending that pass. So do I push or do I not? Well, we shall see. Nice little long road going from Beijing to my second city. Here I'm moving in. But I still have to factor in, you know, I have to say to myself, awesome. Do you really want to go through a mountain pass? And it's a tough one. Maybe if I had optics, which is extremely powerful in archipelago, I always have trouble with that word, and inland sea maps. Here I see, I believe that's Ragusa, the city-state, which has spices, and I think I factor in, well, here you go. I'm going to push a little bit. I'm going to see what happens. And then boom. He has a catapult. He has a swordman ready. And he has a road going to the hill. So I say to myself, nope. I don't think so. I'm not getting sucked into that trap. And start pushing all my units toward Ragusa. Uchokinu is being produced in almost every city. Alright, here I'm moving on Ragusa. But I noticed that France somehow is still producing units, still bugging me, and trying to take over Ragusa themselves. So we'll see what happens there. A little bit of a thing. Here you notice my production was still number 1. What I don't start factoring in here is my ability to tech. And even though I built those paper makers, for some reason, even that early, I built those paper makers. For some reason, I get out teched because I think Fake goes education, and so does other people. So when you go education, you have the ability to produce universities and work those universities for great scientist points, all types of different things. I mean, they're really excellent resources. And here, city-state of Hanoi gets conquered. Here I'm finally building up my road network, which is nice because you get happiness from the roads, protecting the cities. And here I finally have to say, okay, well, if France is going to be this annoying, you gotta take France out. You don't really have an option here. So he plays well, but not well enough. And I think it's either before or after I take Ragusa, I take Lions. So here's Ragusa becoming unhappy with me. I'm moving in with the Chokanus. Chokanu defending up north, northern flank, and the sword. Just for a 1-2 punch, just in case anybody moves into that desert hill. I start attacking Ragusa, I believe. Either this turn or next turn. Alright, so here we are, still producing here we are still looking at the cities and saying, do I want to annex that city, Paris, which I thought about. And here's Ragusa, a very powerful city, a nice location too. I've noticed a nice mountain range up north, defensive mountain range. And you say it's protecting under France, but we all know that France is not the strongest in this game, or this particular game, because they took over their cap, knocked down to red the first turn, attacking, and still have Sultan commenting about me attacking different cities. See, he's worried about his borders. He can't attack because he's stuck, as you'll see later on, he's stuck behind the mountain range there too. You see the Aztec border, if you can just barely see it, on that mountain range right there. About 3 tiles left, 1 tile up from Ragusa. So I create a puppet. Always create a puppet. If you want to annex it, wait till after the civil disobedience or whatever you call it runs out, or resistant runs out. And here I'm just starting to attack France because I'm tired of France. I say to myself, you know, what should I do about this guy, because all he's doing is causing me problems with these troops. So, what do? I move in. I go straight at him. I say, if he wants to be brought, it's going to be brought. So I'm worried about this one Cho canoe. Obviously, I wanted to move back in time, but nope, did not move back in time to get it. So I attack with my swords, get that city down. I have Cho canoes being produced with the upgrade. I go honor because of the great general. I already finished Liberty Tree, and I figure the honor, since the great general in China is so powerful, plus a production bonus would be nice with these Cho canoes if I get it in time. There I'm healing my sword in the city. I'm moving toward lines, and he really has no chance. See, I'm not worried about his horses or anything like that. I just attack his city. And because I have sugar already, it's more or less just to be able to get rid of the city than anything else. Here you see him planting on the incense, which is actually a pretty nice city, it turns out to be, and one that I should have probably attacked because I don't have any incense. But you don't always get every city you want in the world, so you still have what you got. And somehow I'm allies with Almaty, and they start gifting me crossbowmen, which is really nice. Maybe it's because I took over Ragusa. So here I'm still moving along. Notice I slipped a little bit. Got second in production. Unbelievable. I looked again. It's still second production. Though I think that Sultan has had time to build workshops. This is turn 7980, and I've been building Cho canoes to expand my empire. If you notice, I look at Orleans, and I say to myself, you know, they have marble, and that's great, but to take a city over just because of marble, and I have marble already, it's not worth it for the peninsula that's on right now. After he realizes I'm not going to attack him and leave him for a little bit longer, then I think he decides to go ahead and leave because I've already taken his capital. There's just really nothing I can do there. I didn't want to waste any troops, I didn't want to waste time. And so basically I try and take his strategic resources and make peace. And he doesn't make peace. So really interesting there. He's fighting to the last man, and I decided to leave. I decided to say see you later. I'm going somewhere else. And there's a nice marble gem spot. As you see, I noticed that I didn't want to suicide troops, so you notice that peninsula, look at that. This one tile, two tile peninsula which I'd go through, and it just would be devastating to my army. Even though I could probably shoot the Cho canoe from one or two tiles too, from across the ocean. So here I'm healing up. I say to myself, you know what? If the Aztecs are there, let's take them on. I don't take the education route, which is maybe a mistake. I found that most people that win in the FFAs are people that take education, defend against swordmen with defend against longswordmen with swordmen, and can still build and catch up to the tech by the time it gets to, let's say, musketmen or rifles. Here I'm still moving across here. I have a whole bunch of choke canoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choke canoes, including that one right there. 7, including that one right there. And a few long swords and a catapult. I try to make sure all my units are fully healed before I leave territory with them, because that's just one less unit or one less power you have to be able to take over a different civilization with. And here I think I can finally make peace with France, because I really do not want them to attack me anymore. There, I finally hook up my whale resource. I'm happy. So I'm starting to grow a little bit. It's nice. And here I am going over the mountain pass, which is a 2 mountain pass with 2 hills. So it's not as though it's the easiest pass by itself, but still a lot better than the defended mountain pass with a city on the other side of it with one tile. There you go. There's Hanoi, which was taken over by the Aztecs a few turns ago. Here's me just moving out my troops. I even got the crossbowmen from Almaty coming to help. I think he goes to Rostov to be able to defend there, and leaves one of the swordmen there to move over. And I finally get the city back up, the one that I lost to Sultan probably 30 turns ago. A little late getting that back up, but as you can see, choke canoe are very powerful and should be used as much as possible. So I negotiate peace. What deal would you make? Open borders is what I really care about. And there you go. Make peace, get a whole bunch of gold, get his resources, and move on from there. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. Working on my 8th city. Would it be interesting here to see the education figure on here? Because it really snuck up on me that I lost. I was behind in education by 10% by the end of the game. So I really wanted to see how that worked out, and hopefully maybe we can see it during some of these demographics on how or why my education didn't work as well as I thought. I'm guessing universities, they're probably built in all their cities too. I found a great strategy in FFAs is to build the Great Wall, hide behind a Great Wall, and have universities and libraries work them. Here is Aztecs trying to give me some resistance, but resistance is futile, like the Borg when you're playing against me, because I come with overpowering force, and I usually take your cities if I really want to, especially if I have more production than you. And I think I definitely have more production than the Aztecs. Sultan would be a problem because of his combat ability later, and because I didn't want to do a last move or a quick a double move. I wanted to try out just doing a regular move, and it didn't work out that well. I'll show you in a little bit. But Sultan's still trying to help out his, not his teammate, but co-player with Rude. And here is here it is right here. I don't have a heal. But I do have a few Chokanus. So let's see what happens. So I take the city quickly, try and get his focus in the city. He kills my longsword. I almost kill his crossbow. I take Hanoi. And here, I made a mistake, I believe. He did not have crossbowmen yet, Sultan, I don't think. I had crossbowmen, and I could have probably pushed north and attacked him. But instead, I go south and finish off the city. If you notice, manufactured goods still is #1 again. I'm not in the golden age. And here I kill the crossbowmen, and I keep moving along. So you also got to factor in who you're playing against. Depending on who the stronger player is, you might want to factor in what you want to do. But also, I wanted to find out who's been the tech leader, because you really want to knock down the tech leader and put pressure on him so he can't keep building up his tech. And I don't think the tech leader at the time was Sultan. No, because I couldn't see it. 36%. Alright, and here you go. Here is the, if you notice, Almadi's really built up a huge army. An emperor would be tough to take, and I'm slowly whittling down, not becoming allies with them anymore. Build a settler. I think I want to build by those gems and by the marble. And here I move in slowly but surely. And I want to build roads to all my cities now because I feel as though I have enough gold. I finally get what I think to be enough workers. Though you can never really have too many workers. Luckily I took one, I think, from Hanoi or Ragusa when I took the city. Oh, gotta get another crossman right before my allies turned out. We're no longer allies. And here I move in a little bit. And boom, there's another city. Notice I'm moving on the outskirts so I can move in and attack. I don't like getting any extra damage from the cities unless I have to. Move in all at once or don't move in at all. He's a sword defending with the... Now, if he put that general on the other side of the river, it made a citadel, which is one of the most underrated things in the game. I found that I've been making double citadels right next to each other in free-for-alls to be able to stop pushes. And they work extremely well. Is that if you put a citadel right there, but here's the thing: he starved Technochilon, and through a glitch in the game, it was on gold focus. Now the gold focus only produced the mining resource that was on the city, so I couldn't grow in that city, even if I was happy. So that city becomes basically a placeholder for just territory. And notice I have gold right there and gems, and now I have gems, so I don't need to build that city by the gems and the marble. But it's a glitch in the game where you can't at least pick the focus of your puppet of what you can, what type of focus it should be on, whether that be production, growth, food, or default, or commerce, or some sort of focus. Because this really hurt me in the game, and why some people didn't agree to his strategy. It truly hurt my ability, even though it had the Oracle, and even though it had some a wonder or two in it, the Great Library too, it still just was extremely hurtful to my expanding empire. Wow, there you go. There's my troops. And as I move in, I attack slowly. He tries to attack my Chocnu. I keep moving in, keep attacking. It's pretty quick with Chocnu, and not surprising. I build workshops. I think that while papermakers are probably one of the most overpowered buildings in the game, workshops are even more. I try and build a road through that mountain pass because I know I'm going to have to get some troops through it. And there's see those two crosswomen, or Chocnu and crosswomen, holding Nanjing. And I ask, how's Raby getting high points? If you notice, literacy, boom. I'm at 26%, he's at 30%. It's crazy because he doesn't have to deal with us. Or me, especially. So he's not anywhere nearby. So he's basically off somewhere teching and not getting any of the, if you notice that city technical echelon never grows because of the focus it's in, which is really irritating. But, here I go. I continue with my warmongering, and I think I take Talakio over next. There's my great general with the Chocanu being produced, stuff like that. It's real nice. And there's two swords up top. I just want to scout out. Usually I use a lesser unit, like a warrior, to scout because I don't mind it getting taken. But I wanted to see what's going on up north to see if I should attack Sultan. And with those two swords, I should have. Because right here, a key mistake of the game was not turning and starting to attack Sultan when I had the advantage. Look at all his Chokanus. Look at his swords. Gives him a chance to build units, build knights, tech, things of that nature. There I slowly take a city. And here we go. We're still moving along. Building roads, connecting all my cities. I have a general there in Nanjing to be able to produce a citadel if necessary, if he gets a little bit too excited to protect my flank. France is really no longer an option. I have his sword down there to make sure. He's gone. And here is me just attacking with units. Here, I should have attacked earlier. And here is me attacking the city with the trebuchet up. No. Alright. Well, here is the, I just got a quick look at the demographics. Look, I was ahead in most categories. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cities now. I do not take Talakio, I don't believe, because it has gold. And I already have gold. And now I start attacking Talakio Chuan because I want to knock out the Aztec civilization because I want to get some sort of buffer in between my cities and their cities. I don't want to deal with the happiness issue with having the cities under my control, but I want to have a buffer in between my cities and anybody else's cities that might be in the game. Here I'm still producing Chocanu turn 96, so for the past about 30 turns I've been producing nothing but Chocanu. Seeing how strong it really is. Or can be. Here I'm just slowly moving in the Chocanu and attacking. and now build up a little bit. I want to build more workshops, do more production. And here I'm just producing whatever just until it raises. But now, see, he has a chance to upgrade to longswordman, and he knows he's the next target. And after this, I start attacking. Because I really feel as though if you're imperialistic, you have to be imperialistic the entire game, especially toward the mid-size of the game. If you stall now, then your ability to knock down research is negated. I think what happened is that Sultan, whoever, I forget who, Rude, and I think it was Joker, NQ Joker, who was Napoleon. Rude was Montezuma, and Sultan was Russia. I think after I applied so much pressure to them, they just let, I don't know why, but Kung Fu just let fake tech, and both of them teched, even though one had a lead, one didn't. And he had, if you notice here, I would have attacked fake right here because he was in the lead, but he has the Great Wall, one of the most overpowered wonders in the game by far, especially in a free-for-all. Not saying that the Hanging Gardens isn't overpowered, but itself, or other wonders, but the Great Wall is probably the most OP, overpowered wonder in the game. So here we go, moving in with my attack on Russia. And you notice there's two hills. Sultan does a great job here of building roads on hills that he's going to use to attack and defend against. Some players don't do that, but he does a great job there doing that. He also doesn't retreat. He holds his ground. He lets his units get attacked. He knows that if I take his units, he's going to take one of mine. He's willing to hold out for long term. He knows my lines are extended. If you notice here, I mean, I'm already more than halfway through the map by turn 100. I really have long lines of supply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cities now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cities, yep. And so it's basically a city every 10 turns. Manufactured goods, number 1. Here is the Chokanus being upgraded and shipped off. And here I'm attacking, and he has knights. One of the key counters to Chokanus are knights. So he has a really nice line of defense going there. Just like almost as good as the one tile between the mountain range and the city there. That might be better, but he has a really nice hill line there for defense. Roads already being built in. I make peace with the Aztecs because I'm not going to take any more of their cities away. There I just leave a settler there. I don't really think I even build the city, and actually I think it gets end up being taken by barbarians. Here, if you notice, he has trebuchets that get knocked out, that knock out anything that moves. He has a really nice hill line there with forests on it, so you can't shoot over it. So it's a really tough spot that he has me in. I try and move up, but at that time, it's kind of pointless because I'm in kind of a logjam here. I can't really pivot around him because if I pivot around him here to the top left, I leave my city open to attack. I can't go through the mountain pass to the right because it's too much of a choke point, and I can't get my troops fast enough through that pass, through Hanoi, to be able to make a difference. here we go. We're still fighting along here. I don't build that cellar, as I say before. I kind of maybe regret not keeping that city by the gold, so I can get more vision of what's going on, and maybe as a feeder city, just to be able to feed troops through. But I still don't regret it. I would probably do the same thing. Here I'm starting to attack the long assortment, and here I move in early. I say to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna try and double move. I'm not gonna try and I'm not gonna try and just. I'm not gonna try and double move. I'm going to try and hold on one second. That was my dad asking me if he wanted me to take a dog for a walk with him, and I think that'd be cool. But I'm busy editing a video for my game, Civ 5, and I do not want to restart this whole video recording because I've already been talking for about an hour and 15 minutes. Wow. Alright. Not much more to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. Here is my general moving up forward. Knights, see, you notice he produced massive amount of knights to be able to counter my Chokanus. And here we go, here's the battle. Now moving fast the next turn. See, I try, my theory is move in, attack with everything, and then try and figure it out. But if I fast moved here, I could have easily taken out half his troops. Now, I should have done that. That was a mistake. Maybe they change double moving in the future, so neither person can do double moving, which would make it more fair. But I try it out without doing double move because I'm just like that sometimes, and it ends up being to my not benefit. Anyway, we're going to take a 2-minute break. Keep watching the video. I will be back on in 2 minutes. I'm taking a little bit of a break, get a drink, and here's me battling to try and take over Russia still, and just producing workers, or using workers. Alright, I'm back. Where are we in the game right now? I'm still attacking Russia, still producing Chokanus, turn 100, and still have not annexed any of my cities. You can see they're really damaged now. I probably take out that longswordman, hopefully. So I move in once again, or I wait to move in, and you'll see what happens this time when I wait. I have less troops now than I had before, but I say to myself, you know what, I should really wait. And they gives Chariot Archer, not a crossbowman, to my civilization, because we're no longer allies, we're just friends, I believe, now. But still is a useful unit for free. Here I move in Rostov to try and get some units up there to try and relieve some pressure off Novigrad. Kind of a feint. And there I connect my road up to Technochalon, which still has not grown. There I get one night. Novigrad. See, if I attacked earlier, if I had attacked instead of finishing off the Aztecs, was a mistake, I should have just moved straight north, attacked Russia. Because they were a non-factor at that point, they starved their capital. But see here, I moved in at the last second. He moved back, and I just started killing stuff. I just started ripping stuff apart with my Chokanus. So basically, what I should have done was fast moved all my units in at the end of every turn. But alas, I did not. I did not have enough troops to take Novigrad in the end, and that is my fault. But I do take a long sword there and a knight. And I started having workers that I don't really need because I've already worked most of the tiles. So if I get a little bit lazy with my workers, it's just because I already have most tiles worked that I need to be worked. See, he finally gets the little moves on it, and basically, but look how much units I destroyed by fast moving. If I had units to back them up like I did earlier, all those units there have probably been destroyed, at least 2 or 3 of them. So here we go. They're still taking troops. He's really going for the strategy of I'll hurt you as much as you hurt me, and hopefully I'll outproduce you before you get troops there. Because you have to also understand he's at his production center at Moscow and Novigrad, whereas I'm halfway across the map attacking. Right here I am, sitting there with this chariot archer, be able to watch out, being lazy with my workers. And here is my final attack attempt. I'm in the yellow. I think I move in here. I don't know why I do if I do. See here, if you notice that it's just producing on the gold focus, which is really terrible. I mean, it's giving me production and it's not growing that fast, so. And I have 3 happiness. It'd be nice to have a city out in the front to be able to produce units to be able to upgrade, since I do have 269 gold. Here, if you notice, I move in one last time. I'm now overextended myself. There's really nothing I can do there. See, I mentioned he's been taking in wonder, taking wonders, and there's no pressure being applied to him. So it really is almost good game now. I looked at stats, I think, and I saw that it was a little bit unfair. I don't know what they say right there. Here I am finally. I think I retreat after this. Nope, that's me going after them, killing units. And hopefully I retreat after this, because I really have no units left. And if I want to defend my cities, I should defend my cities. Maybe I should have defended or gone back to 1 or 2 turns ago. But in the end, I knew I had lost because of the tech point at that time. And he started to have cam archers right there. I thought he was going to attack me. And Fake says he doesn't like 2 versus 1s. Well, in my book, 2 versus 1s are sometimes the best because, you get to show your skills by defending 2 people, and if you can overextend himself and lose production by attacking, which would be great because I think I'm a good battler. You're a pretty good battler, um, better than some, and so I want him to use his production instead of on education, on using units and me taking them away from him. But that doesn't happen. I start taking rifling and skip education altogether, I think. So that was my fault there for not factoring in the power of education. And in the FFA, manufactured goods still leading #1. But as you see, now you said in a good FFA we would team up now, but I have Hanoi, so maybe he wants to take Hanoi and thinks I'm going to settle for not having Hanoi in Technichalon, and he takes them, but I don't think that's going to happen, not in my lifetime. So basically, we end up getting into a battle, and I still push. I don't know why I'm pushing. Why am I pushing? Looking at the map now, I'm saying to myself, why am I backing up? But, you know me, I like to keep constant pressure, and now maybe I finally back up. I don't know why, if I bought that tile, it's because I don't want them to be able to put a great general there and then be able to push through the tile. There, I should move back. 4 turns ago, I'd have a better chance, but at this point, the game's pretty much over. Fake has a humongous lead on us in tech. I built a Citadel, which is underrated. People really don't like Citadels as much as I do. Even with a Chinese general, a Citadel can stop a large army for a good amount of time, like it does here. And I have other generals in play too, so it's not like I'm losing too much there. See, I still have a general in Nanjing protecting my northern flank. Nothing really in my south, nothing in my east. Some stuff in the west, but he has the Great Wall he's happy to hide behind. And here I make sure I get my Citadel ready just in case he wants to attack by Nanjing. Notice I have very few troops. It's probably displayed in demographics how few troops I have. Excuse me. At this point, I basically that Coke's come back up. So good. It's from bourbon. Anyway, here is the workers being used, trying to find different tiles that haven't been worked yet. I believe I might have annexed Paris. Still #1 production. My stats are still good. Demographics are still good, except for that technology section, or your literacy. So here I have more troops coming to defend. Still have a cellar ready to be built. I'm still in the happiness. I believe I annexed the city because it's not producing anything, or it's not producing anything I like. So I finally annex it, build a courthouse. I still have under 10 happiness, so I'm okay. Because I know to myself that I need to be able to produce more units. These puppet cities aren't going to be able to support my growing empire, especially the one that hasn't been growing at all. the Aztec capital. Here I take, I think, never mind. I thought I'd take rifles. Yeah, and then I started mentioning that I should have fast moved from the beginning, and he had major, and I did have some major lag for some reason when I was moving. But you know, what are you gonna do? You can't complain after the game. Should have fast moved from the very beginning. Now, since I know they're probably going to start producing cannons and artillery, it's going to be around about that time I start producing lancers to be able to flank them. Now I'm worried about Fake attacking also, not just Sultan, so I move some Chokanus down to Technochalon. And why I'm improving the tiles there, I have no idea, considering the fact that he's not growing. And here I am, just defending, getting ready for the attack, because I know it's going to happen. Either from Sultan or from Fake or from both. I'm still leading in points, but somehow Fake, without even attacking anybody except for maybe city-states, is almost in the lead in points. So I'm still producing Chokanus turn 116. So from turn 63 to 116, I produce Chokanu. That's how powerful a crossbow unit is in the game. That's how powerful Chokanus are. Wouldn't have done it differently, except for maybe an education here and there. But if I had education, I don't know. I haven't really factored in how much education the university really changes your ability to tech techs. I mean, it's obviously a good building to have and to be able to work, but you have to have larger cities to be able to support universities. I really haven't factored that in yet. It's one of the next things to do. I don't like that scout moving around back there, being able to take my iron or being able to mess with my supply line. But I don't want to attack him either and get him thing. See, now he has a points lead. I believe he has conquered a city-state. Fake. He has a 13% increase in literacy. Here's a nice little thing I did right here for you. Still outforced to manufacture goods. Second crop. Look at the population though. He's had time to build. He has 5 million people. He had time to grow. He is Arabia. He could trade his resources. He probably did. And he probably did with the Iroquois, who didn't attack him. So it was really a game meant for him to win. So not only is the aggressor, the warmonger, gets the victory, but here Sultan's moving in, trying to attack. I'm trying to defend two fronts, and I move my Chokanus are called out of position. He's attacking with the warrior or the worker. He's building roads, and I want to get rid of those roads because I really don't want him to build a road to get his troops in there any faster. But so I kill that worker. I believe I have roads and the horses in the citadel by now, but nowhere else. I'm starting to bleed money, so I don't want to build too many roads. Here I have Chokanus that have attacked. He's picked me apart with knights, which is, I mean, reasonable considering the fact how good they are in the distance and strength, meaning 3 distance and 18 strength. And with upgrade, they're even stronger. Here, hopefully, I take out 1 or 2 units. See, I'm just looking. I keep looking at that education figure and saying to myself, "What can I do to get that up?" And so I started building stuff. I started going toward education. I started building toward education. If you notice, I'm glad Hanoi is probably producing that paper maker. Rus is producing some happiness. Here it's really just a trade-off of units until he takes Hanoi, maybe. There, I'm just slowly pushing him back. But you can only push back for so long if you decide to change your focus, and he's still on unit focus. If you notice, I'm producing a circus, hopefully get some happiness up to be able to grow my cities. I'm producing circuses in most of my cities, or some of my cities, and still Tenochtitlan, the capital for the Aztecs, has not grown 1 pop. Manufactured goods still number 1. My civilization is looking nice. Control probably about half the map. And I annex that city because I want to be able to produce units there too. Then I produced National College, so that takes away a lot of production ability for my capital, be able to produce units, which gives him an advantage, Sultan and Fake, in unit production, which is noticeable in the demographic screen. So as long as I'm if they can average it out correctly, there's only 4 players left really, or yeah, there's really only 4 players left, and you factor in how much the computer has, you can easily figure out approximately how much your opponent has, or just talk to people and say how many troops do you have, how many troops does he have, etc. But notice I'm building universities now, and I'm going for a printing press to try and get the Taj Mahal, I believe. So here I push back NQ Sultan. I consider annexing thing. I go back to going for chemistry because I don't think I have time to produce the printing press. If you notice, the Iroquois had a really weak civilization because they had very little gold left. They weren't really high in the demographics. I tried to trade them for something, and I traded them, I think, cotton for something. So here I am talking about city placements. I believe Tenochtitlan was probably built in a nice city place because of that gems. If I knew that gems was there to the right, otherwise I would probably built it on those gold and built a second city to the bottom right of the gems to get that fish and the cattle and the gems. Another city placement is I still don't have is on the marble or the gems right to the right, but I didn't really know if I could trade with anybody, so I didn't want to try it because I'm already at about 1 happiness, so not much to work with there. Hanoi is at a pretty good city spot, but I might be able to be built on the hill to the bottom left and have a little more shooting power if it was built, the other city was built to the left a little bit. I think my cities are pretty nice spots. Paris, I don't know, didn't really see that well. Novigrad's obviously in a good, nice defensive position, and so is the other Russian city to the east of Novigrad, or to the right of Novigrad. Paris really has no production, or not very little production. Rostov. Rostov's a very nice defensive city also. So here I don't even meet the city-state to the bottom, I don't think, but I'm still trying to expand. And here I'm even building trading posts in all my jungles to be able to get the 2 food, 2 speakers or science, and a piece of gold after I get the university. I'm slowly overtaken by manufactured goods by Fake. And the technology lead is just ridiculous. I think the manufactured good was because he had chemistry before me. Chemistry is such a powerful technology with the extra production that it gives. So here, after building that watermill, Technotrolon does have the ability to grow to, I think, a Pop 2 city, and then stops again after working the gems. So it's nice that it grows at least to a Pop 2 city, because it can work more. And Sultan asked, do you think I can beat Fake anymore? Do I have a chance at this? And I said I can build faster than him. But 13% behind in tech, and you don't have any universities up, it's pretty hard to come back from. He tells the tech figure later on, which is quite ridiculous. And there's not much you can do when you're attacking and everybody else's thing. Once again, I think about annexing the city, but the problem with annexing Pop 1 city is it's going to take so long for the cap or the courthouse to be produced to be able to offset that unhappiness. And I'm happy right now, so I don't want to wreck any of that. But you notice where I'm growing, which is the highest growth, I grow faster than anyone else. But here I'm producing universities. So basically I'm shifting my focus. I could probably win a war if I decide to, but I shift my focus. I don't feel like just having all my units being suicide in those little 2 mountain passes with thank you Sultan. Sultan, while I'm producing universities, he's producing units. And we get some extra happiness there. Be able to start growing a little bit more. So this is by far one of the longest videos I've done. I've only done one other video announcing. I think commentating with 2 people is probably the best option. Any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, email awesome@awesomeciv.com. This game's kind of winding down now. You'll notice it doesn't really have come to a climactic ending. And basically, you'll see how it ends. But it was still a pretty good game nonetheless. A great FFA, good experience, good learning experience about what it takes to win. And I thought it was a good game by everybody that played. But once again, this shows just the power of the Great Wall and how powerful it is. He's probably in one of the most fragile situations of the map. Like fragile fronts, but he has a Great Wall so he can defend himself. So I tell Sultan I started to build up. He notices it, so maybe he takes that and he starts attacking me. So I'm not going to share as much as my game plan or as much anymore with people in my that I'm playing with, because he obviously took that as, okay, well, I should attack him now. So just learning my lessons, get my so here I'm finally able to produce some economic buildings and happiness, because I want to stay growing and I want to be able to catch up with Fake if I can with technology, but it's going to be tough um, with the current situation. I believe Sultan starts attacking. Here, my settler was just captured by barbarians. I just forgot about it. Nothing meant to do any harm there. My tech is at about, I think, 190. It turned 134, but Fake's tech is at ridiculously large sums, and it's just ridiculous how much more powerful it is to be able to grow and not attack. And I start producing rifles, one every 3 or 4 turns on my cap, and probably one every 6 or 7 turns in 4 other cities. So I like my demographics where they're at. I still don't understand how Fake got to where he got with the points and stuff, how he overtook me. He must have taken city states, because I don't think he took over any civilizations. And here we are just viewing cities. You notice how I have a little bit of growth in technical design, yet it's still producing a good amount because of its growth that it had with the watermill. Try and readjust my units, and in doing so, I try and be able to hold off Fake if he decides to attack me. But at the same time, I give Sultan an edge to be able to attack me, because he has he sees sight. He has musketeers coming, or musketmen coming, crossbowmen. Here he is, right here. And notice how strong crossbowmen are in the defense. It's really surprising. I delete a worker. Can you believe it? I really have no other reason to have workers just moving around, so I delete it. I probably should have at least scouted with it, but I felt as though it was already good enough as it is. See, I'm really worried about units just coming in and flanking me. And he has so many more units because he's been producing units while I've been producing buildings. So I probably should have told him that I'm building up, but it didn't really matter at this time. If he was any good of a player, any type of a good player, he'd look at demographics and notice that I've had one of the weaker armies. There, I take a few longswordmen. So I mean, I do damage, but it's not enough. He ends up taking Hanoi in the end. If you notice, he has a really large amount of troops coming, lots of cannons, a surprisingly large amount of cannons, and surrounds my citadel. So he basically bombards my longswordmen in the citadel. Let's see that happen. And I get a heal, luckily. Still producing with units. I decided to bring one Chocono back and try and help out because I feel as though there's a weakness in my lines. And notice, see how the Chocono are out of position? If the Chocono were in position, I probably could have still held them off. But since I was worried about Fake also with a 2-front attack, it was a little tougher than expected. As you can see, he has large amount of units coming at me. Not much I can do there. I have really pretty good civilization though going. He's really, if you notice how far away it is from my capital hasn't even been producing units lately, except for riflemen, which are coming out soon. So I probably would have been able to push back. I probably would have been able to maybe even take a city or two, but Fake would have just rickrolled me, or taken over me, and Sultan while we were warring with each other. I think Sultan thought that maybe we could become friends after he took Hanoi, but there are no friends in my book when you take my land. So here I have rifles being produced every 3 turns or so, which are double upgraded, I think. I don't know if I have an armory actually in it, but I'll start producing rifles in all my cities. So basically 10 turns in other cities, 3 turns in my cap, somewhere around there. 5 turns, 6 turns in the other cities. So not bad for a rifleman. Here I say, do you want to just declare Fake the winner, I think. And then I try and get other people involved. But I found that, I mean, so far, not many people from NQ as much really listen to the announcements of what you're trying to do, or trying to, if you're trying to double attack somebody. They really don't like 2 versus 1s. They really don't like to tip the balances of power. But really the only way to tip the balance of power there was for him to attack there and flank Sultan, which would have been really nice for everybody, because then we would have shook things up a little bit, got me the opportunity to attack Fake. But he was smart, stayed behind this great wall and just attack. My work has improved pretty much every tile. I decided to give up the city here. I try and say, but I said maybe we said, should I say Fake wins, because I'm either going to die to research or attacking. So this is basically us talking about it. And then I complained about the pop science figure, how it's messed up, and how even if you have a higher population or a higher literacy rate, which I think literacy should be based upon the actual literacy of your civilization, meaning like, alright, I have 1 population, I should get 1 beaker from it, but it shouldn't mean that I get more than, like, the first population is like 7,000, second population is like 21,000 or something like that, or 28,000. So it's exponential increase, and it costs more and more in food to get the bigger cities. So I just think that the population figure is bugged. But that's not what cost me the game. It cost me the game because I didn't balance education and warring. Maybe if I was about 5% behind him, I would have played it out, because I could have called it up, but not right now. And he basically might be able to push a little bit, but I'm a pretty good battler, and I have a few riflemen's coming. He's not going anywhere. Um, he might take the capital city of Aztec, but we'd be battling it out until the end of the game. But I figured Fake would just attack soon. The game would be over anyway. We can't do anything about it. I finally agree. The Fake wins. I look at demographics one last time. I can't keep up with his tech. And I mentioned how espionage will make the game more interesting in the future with the video. Anyway, Fake wins. Good games to everybody. Warmongers don't always win. Fake wins. Thanks to everybody for listening.